What's going on, guys, gals, and everything in between? You are on the sidelines with the Sideline guys. I'm Chris.
Derrick.
Welcome back. Welcome
Most
back.
definitely. Yes, sir.
Dude,
Yes, sir.
we were talking about this on off air. I think it's only right that I start the show with this. It feels like it's been a month since we spoke.
I
It's
know.
been, it's been a little
I
over a week.
yeah, yeah.
It feels like a freaking month. Like so much has happened. We got so much to dig into. It's exciting times. That's
Yeah,
all I gotta
man.
say.
It's felt like a lifetime. I'm it's a lot has been happening this week, so I'm glad to get into it, man.
Yes,
This is an
sir.
exciting time.
Yes, sir. It's only right we start in the NFL world. The first thing I'm laying this on you.
Yeah.
I love this about the show because I don't tell Derrick anything.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, we
just
don't
ask his
talk.
opinion as
Yeah,
soon as
yeah,
as
yeah.
soon as we start. Uh, so here's a little situation that I got some details on that I think
Okay.
I would love to get your opinion on.
Okay.
So Deebo Samuel, uh,
Yeah.
all reports are saying he's asking for a trade from San Francisco. Now I think this is a very very important part of this
Mm,
that I just found out today. um, they were in the midst or sort of waiting to start negotiations, and he asked for a trade even before they gave him an offer. So I
oh wow.
think if that says anything, it's that he doesn't want to be there anymore. Like it's not about the money.
Mm,
The rumblings is sort of like he doesn't want to live in San Francisco, which at the end of the day, I feel if that's your reason, like fuck the money. Like you'll get paid somewhere
yeah,
else.
bro.
Find whatever works for you.
If that's solely the reason, you should push your way to LA.
Oh, don't say that, please.
If that's
There's a
solely,
couple execs that
bro,
just
like
that just started. They
I
lit the
mean,
cigar.
we already know they turn the cap space off, bro. Like why not?
It's over. Franchise mode is going crazy. It's over.
Yeah,
So, what do
yeah.
you think? Sort of. How do you think this ends up? I think this is the real question. What are some key destinations that you think he could end up finding his way to? And what do you think is on the horizon? Because I think he's going to get paid big no matter where he goes.
I think he's gonna get paid big for sure. Um, he's still in his rookie contract though, right? So you're looking toward the extension right now.
Exactly.
Um, I don't really know what to make of it in terms of like the actual reason he's trying to push his way out, because it's not like San Francisco is not a contender, right? Like they are, and they have some stuff they need to work on, positions they need, key positions they need to address, but they're one of the contenders for sure. And
Mhm.
I don't know the why, but there's a couple places that make sense for him. Okay. Green Bay is one that definitely makes sense for them. Like for both sides.
That's the flashing light one right there.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one that makes complete sense. Um I, I hate saying this, Baltimore makes sense. Um Dallas would make sense, but I don't know what they're gonna do. Like they have a lot of stuff they need to really address. You have CD Lamb, like I don't know if that would totally make sense in terms of that, but um,
That's a Dallas move though.
that's a Dallas move. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's one that creates a lot of confusion. Tampa Bay makes sense.
I don't know
Philly,
how they do it, but
I know, but I mean, just in terms of like like fits
mhm.
would be the best. Yeah, Tampa Bay. I think Philly makes sense too, but I don't know if that would be the move that actually happens. If I had a guess, because it sounds like the same thing's about to happen with AJ Brown. If I had a guess, that's the likely move that I think would happen for Philly over Deebo Samuels. But
Mhm.
you never know. I think one of his what I read was that one of his biggest things is that he doesn't want to play the
Hybrid.
dual position, yeah, hybrid position of wide receiver and running back. I actually think having that in the playbook though helps. Like when you have someone that can actually run the ball, that's a great receiver. It makes sense because it opens up a whole lot for your running game,
For
right?
sure.
Like it
And
doesn't.
anywhere he goes, they're gonna spy him anyway.
They're
So
gonna spy him. Yeah, it doesn't.
exactly.
It's not like that's not gonna happen. That's why I want him, because Miles Sanders would get a lot off his back. But I think that he would make a lot of sense in Green Bay. Green Bay, Green Bay
Needs
and
to do something.
Baltimore are the two that really make sense to me because Baltimore doesn't have a number one receiver. You guys basically have like a bunch of number
Yep,
twos
you
and
got some good
threes.
picks as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it would make sense for Baltimore to do it. The only thing is like what I don't know what your cap space looks like.
Not
So
very good.
it's not good, right? So
Mhm.
the Lamar Jackson contract still not signed. So is it feasible? That's the only question. Like
For sure.
who would you send if you're looking at Baltimore, who would you send to San Francisco for Deebo Samuels? Because they want a haul.
For sure.
That's the thing that I think that you it limits who the partner actually is because you're
Mhm.
only able to talk to teams that have
Those assets, yep.
those
And
assets.
that's I agree with that 100%. Real quick, I'll start with the Ravens and then I'll go sort of where I think he's going to end up. That's a good question. I never even considered that. I honestly, wholeheartedly, and that's hard to believe because
Mm,
I'm a stan. I never
yeah,
even thought about it because I don't think it's going to happen.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but it'll have to be like you'll have to start with at least your first two draft picks, right? Like first and second round.
yeah,
You'll
yeah,
have to
yeah,
start there.
yeah.
I would imagine that one of the other Marquise Brown or Bateman would have to go. Um, at the same time, I don't know if that's based off their preference or our
Mm,
preference. I would say keep Hollywood Brown because you got a little bit of a different dynamic in my opinion
yeah,
than if you would have Bateman in. But either way, like you're good. You're good money.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think they'll have to add something else though too, like be either a defensive player or something to make it even more juicy because I feel like
Mm,
that's the way it's going. As far as realism, like teams like the Jets, the
I
fucking
forgot about the Jets.
the
Yeah.
Lions, like I feel like that's where he'll probably end up somewhere almost similar to the Tyreek Hill trade, where it's a
Yes.
team that comes out of entirely left field, but when you
Yeah.
realize the sort of assets they're able to give up in order to
Yeah.
make that leap, it makes a little bit more sense. So I think a team like that more so than a playoff contender. But if he ends up
Mm.
in a playoff contender, like the
What
league
if?
got even more problems, and there's already a lot of problems this season.
Yeah. What if Kansas City were able to pull it off?
Oh man, I didn't even. That's another one I didn't even think of. That'll be insane,
That would be
like insane.
crazy. Yeah. See, my thing is, I think where we are right now, in this era, players have more control, and it seems as if I'm not sure if how it looks to you, but to me, it seems as if Debo is in the driver's seat with this. Like he has more leverage than the 49ers do. That
I don't
that's
think
that's
so.
that's how it seems to me because of the fact that if you already know he doesn't want to stay, he's probably going to hold out
Mhm.
for the season. Um, you already see he's likely going to walk out the door. You don't want to lose him for anything, for nothing, right?
For
Like
sure.
that's why to me it feels like he has a leverage. It may not be the leverage for this season, but
Hmm.
it could be the leverage in the long run where it's like if you don't trade me, you're
You're not
not
getting
getting
none for it.
anything. and
Exactly.
and that's why I almost feel like their ask their asking price is going to come down
Hmm.
because I think they're
At
going to
some
end up
point, yeah.
doing I think they're going to end up doing a lot of that, uh, uh holding out and try not to say too much now, but the toothpaste is already out the tube, right? Like this is
Sure.
not one of those things that you can just cover up. So I think their price is going to end up coming down. Probably I would say somewhere maybe during the draft or after the draft, we'll probably hear because I don't think he's going to get traded in the next week.
Now, yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
that's not going to happen. So I mean, you made a good point though. Like Detroit would be very interesting
Yeah, man.
because if they what's that quarterback's name? Malik
Willis.
Willis. What if they
He's
were to
good.
if they were
He's
to
good,
draft
man.
him and then trade for Samuels? How does that make them look?
Yeah, for sure. And I
You see what
think
I'm
they'll
saying?
leave Goff in as well. Like I think Goff will still
Yeah,
get his round reps in,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's where things will start. And that's a good foundation to sort of build around for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I honestly would like to see the Jets make that move because they're willing to pay somebody on
They
that
are.
scale.
Yeah,
And that'll be exciting. That'll be exciting times here in New York. It's been a
Yeah,
while
yeah.
since either of those teams brought any excitement anywhere near the tri-state area.
Yeah.
But I just gotta say, man, like when it comes down to this whole situation, I agree with what you said, but in a different sense entirely. I don't
Okay.
think he has the leverage in the way that he can decide his destiny. I think he's already
Right.
decided what's going to happen.
Right.
But I don't think he's going to have much say in wherever he's going. And
No,
it's
no, no,
sort of going
no.
to be like, you're going to have to figure out your extension whenever you do. And this
Mm,
is, we'll get you out,
hmm.
but figure out what you're going to do after. You can't really tell us no on certain things, in my opinion, because you got to work with what's sort of your best haul.
Yeah.
And given the fact that he's still up for that contract, you can make that work feasibly and make a team convince themselves that they could re-sign him and end up in a messed up spot
Yeah.
in the next year or so. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he definitely has all the leverage in the way that it's an asset that now they don't have any control over. And
Right.
on a team that was in the championship game, that's such a hard place to be in. Like I feel like
Hmm.
if there's any team that I cannot read where they're going to end up next season, it is the Niners because they could bottom out entirely and almost
Yeah.
hit the reset button around Trey Lance,
Yeah.
come back in two years and regroup, or they could sort of double down and find a way to contend this season. Like it's crazy.
But
Um,
is this, in your opinion, is this because they want to keep Garoppolo?
nah, I think
What is the
100%.
move?
You don't draft Trey Lance if you want to keep Garoppolo. Like there's
You don't. But what's the move?
where is the move? There is no move.
Because what
That's the
are you
problem.
like? Are you trading Garoppolo? Like what's happening? That's another thing that confused me about this whole situation. Like
Imagine he's in that package too.
he would have to be. He would have almost have to be. You know, that
Yeah.
would be weird. Because think about it. Like if they did actually trade him to Detroit.
No, I just don't don't call Damien. Don't call Damien. I just had something go off in my head. The
Oh,
Saints, but with that package, both of them,
you
I
do
don't
need a
know.
quarterback in New Orleans.
I think that could be it. That could be it. If you're gonna package both of them, I think that's the only situation that
What about
is.
Seattle?
I don't think they're in that win now mode the same way the Saints are though. And I know that they're a step away from that as well. But I
Mm,
feel like they're a team that wants to win as soon as possible. I
hmm.
don't know that Seattle's in that spot right now. Um, I think if they were, they would have already got Baker, in my opinion. So
Baker ain't the winner, man.
he isn't, but that's the
If
best
you're trying
option they
if you're trying to
got.
win, Kaepernick is a better option for me.
I disagree with that.
Kaepernick is a much better option to me than Baker.
I disagree with that. I love
I
Cap. I disagree with that.
bro, I like Baker doesn't wow me. Like Cap is one
Cap
of those
doesn't want
guys.
me either.
Cap Cap wows me more than Baker. I'll tell you that. Like and he's still in shape. You know, he looked good in his workouts. I mean,
For
workouts are
sure.
workouts. It's not that's not game speed. So I you can take that with a grain of salt, but I still believe that he has what it takes to at least be a game manager at this point.
For sure. And
Uh,
I'm gonna say the fact that you're saying that's higher ceiling than Baker Mayfield is
yeah,
crazy to me.
yeah.
I
Uh,
think we have not seen the best of Baker Mayfield, and I
I
think that
think
he
we have seen the
is.
top.
I don't.
I
I
think
sincerely
we've seen the
don't.
peak.
He's bro. He's dealt with a lot of shit, injury
Mhm.
wise, personnel wise. Um, I'm really excited because I feel like if there's any quarterback that's due for a redemption story, it's him. I don't think it's gonna happen next season or even the next. But at some point in his
Two
career,
years? You
clip
think
this. At
2
some point in
years?
his career, we're gonna have a moment where Baker Mayfield is gonna turn things around. And
Hey,
hey,
I'll
we're
tell
gonna
you
point
what.
to this clip. I promise you.
I'll tell you what. To make it even sweeter, if Baker Mayfield does what you're talking about, he's going to be able to do. Even I'll even say in the next 3 years, I will actually go get a Dallas Cowboys jersey.
Say less. How about this? How about this? I got you right now. Baker Mayfield starts in a playoff game. It could be a wild card game. Just saying. He
Mm.
starts in a playoff game before Kaepernick gets signed. Book it. I'll put
Ooh,
that. I'll put that
ooh,
on the line. I'll get a
ooh.
Steelers. I'll get a Steelers terrible towel in this bitch. And if I'm wrong, I'll leave it up for the episode.
No, actually, you know what? I could get a Dallas Cowboy helmet and have it spin back there if
Wow.
I'm wrong.
Let's do it. I like it. We just made a live wager. This has to
Yeah,
be the promo, right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the stakes are there, but I'm convicted in that. So I like it. I
So
like it.
let's reiterate the terms, okay? Baker Mayfield has to start in a playoff game before Kaepernick gets signed.
To an NFL team as a starter, not as a backup, as a starter. He has to start at least one game. As soon as he starts one game,
Kaepernick.
you win. Yep.
Hey man,
This is a
whatever.
no lose
I'm with
situation
it.
for you,
I'm with
right?
it. I'm
Like
with it. I
I
don't
made
even.
it. I made it this way. You know,
So what's the window we're talking? Like we have to
the
put.
next 4 years.
You
Like
want to put 4 years into it? Okay. Okay.
we got time, baby. We got nothing but time.
4 years.
Sir.
All right. Bet.
Book it, baby. Let's
Bet.
go. I'm gonna write this down as well. Anyway, we need to move on.
Yes,
Is there
sir.
any last words on this Deebo Samuel situation before
Nah,
we
man.
continue?
Nah, nah,
Yeah.
nah. I'm good.
Anything else in the league you want to touch on? Because honestly, I don't think there's anything for me.
No, I mean outside of Earl Thomas trying to come back,
Oh yeah, that's a great
uh,
one.
how do you feel
It's a
about
great
that?
one.
Where do you think he goes if that's the case?
I love him. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Go wherever you're able to make some good money. But at the
yeah,
same time, same thing as fighting. It always troubles me whenever I hear athletes in this scenario
yeah.
because you retired for a reason, and there was a
Mm-hmm,
lot of quotes around why you were retiring.
mm-hmm.
And now it's the opposite. For what reason? You always have to ask that question because there most of the time it's a reason that we shouldn't be willing to stomach as a fan base.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
tough times. I hope he ends up somewhere where he makes some good money. But I don't know.
What's the max you would offer him?
This is funny because we talked about this last year. Not last year, last episode.
Yeah,
Not more than Patrick Beverly is gonna make
yeah.
whenever he gets signed. There's no way he's making more than Pat Bev. I'll tell you that.
Get vet minimum, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm with it. I'm with
All
it.
right,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
This is a interesting topic, and I love that you shared it with me because I never even, well, I've thought of it, but I never thought of it the way I have since I saw this article. So, Woj was talking about how um, sports betting and how it's in the forefront of everything now. I mean,
Mm,
if you live in a state that it's legal and you haven't heard about sports betting, you're not watching any media because it's everywhere and there's a lot of money in it. Trust me, I've made a lot of money since it's become legal in New York. But his point in talking about how it's in the forefront of everything, it's literally advertised in every single game you watch. There is some
yeah,
form of sports betting being advertised.
yeah.
With that being on the forefront of everyone's mind, that it's going to lead to more fan animosity towards the players.
Mm,
Now, I can't wait to give you the floor, but I'm just going to say my piece first.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I honestly feel like this is a kind of a silly take for Woj, and here's why.
Mm,
It's not like sports betting didn't exist already. Like
mm,
that's the first part.
yeah.
Even if it's just like between you and your friend,
Mm-hmm.
between whatever, there's a reason for people to get mad. There's no shortage of reasons for people to get mad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
As far as the validity of the statement, like I get it, it's
Mm,
very true. There are always, I think more so than ever, there's been a lot of instances where we see specific fan issues with a lot of different players
mm-hmm.
in certain states more than others. Utah, I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
But I think no matter what, regardless of sports betting, that's gonna happen. Just because the nature of fan bases and how tribal people get. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, do I think that that is going to be the tipping point that changes animosity between fans and athletes? Hell no. I think all those stakes already existed for other reasons. I'd be more passionate about situations like Kyrie in Boston with the history. About situations like that, you'll be way more passionate about that than someone not delivering on a bet that you
Mm-hmm.
put. Like that's your
Mm-hmm.
own fault. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but do I doubt that there'll be a couple of loonies that end up in situations where they're acting out and doing things to athletes because of stupid mistakes they made. I'm sure that will happen. But as an overall conversation, I think there's bigger issues than just sports betting.
Yeah, man, I agree. I don't think this is a huge excuse me, a huge issue in terms of it being the thing that's going to make everything break, but I can see where this is a thing that could possibly happen. Where if you're at the game and you may have lost a bet on whoever makes how many layups or dunks or scores how much, like whatever the bet would be, who would actually win the game. I'm pretty sure there are people that are there at those arenas that get upset,
Mhm.
but I don't think it's as big of an issue as he was trying to make it sound, as if this is going to be the next big thing that we have to take security measures over. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
if that's the case, stop selling beer at the concession stands. I don't know what else to like.
Saw some weed pens. Everyone will chill
Yeah,
out a little.
yeah, real talk.
Real talk.
That would actually be something. I don't see how this would be a thing where we're talking about, this is going to be something where we have to put in extra security measures. But I can see where this is something that maybe you have a few incidents happen during the season. Something even similar to what we saw with Westbrook in Utah, right?
Mhm.
Like that's something that could possibly happen a couple more times as sports betting gets even bigger. It's not like this is just a new thing. Like you said,
Mhm.
this is something that's been around. So I mean, even if it wasn't sports betting, you have fantasy sports. Fantasy sports that's been around for the longest,
Yeah.
right? People put money on that, so I don't see
A lot of
how.
money. A lot of money.
Yeah, I don't see how this is a thing where it's a major concern, but I can see the point of bringing it up in terms of saying, hey, maybe we could bring a couple more security personnel in or something like that. But
Mhm.
I don't think this is something where you're. We talked about this before though. If this is going to be a thing where we're talking about in arena issues, how about you scale the roles back a couple, make
Yep.
sure that access to the players isn't as close as it is, maybe something like that. But I don't think
They'll never do that.
they because they're going to lose way too much money on those seats. I already know that's never going to happen, but
It's a feasible answer if it becomes a huge issue.
if it
What
becomes
I
an issue.
do think though, what I do think is certainly already happening
Hmm.
is the tinfoil hats are out. Um, and I think this is a perfect sort of segue to get into these playoff series.
Yeah.
But as soon as Derrick, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? As soon as I called him Derrick, why am I messing up right now? It's a D name. You know who I'm talking about in Phoenix. He got injured. Devin
Yeah,
Booker.
Devin Booker.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just
We're two
it's
light
that time
skinned
of night.
brothers. Maybe
It's
that's
that
it.
time of night. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Devin Booker had an injury that forced him out of that game,
Yeah.
game two, which they ended up losing.
Mhm.
And immediately I saw a couple different people on Twitter saying, "Oh, you think it's a coincidence that Devin Booker had X amount of points and a team that is sponsored by a online sports company has no interest in taking him out of the game, like as if the injury was fabricated."
Wait, what?
I'm telling you, crazy talk. You think they have no interest in taking him out of the game when their biggest sponsor is a sports betting company? They don't want to pay out on the people that bet. Oh man, the tinfoil hats are going to be out because they already are.
Bro. I mean, he wouldn't be sitting on the sidelines for 2 to 3 weeks if that was a fake injury.
Legit, legit.
Like, what are we talking about?
And with conviction, they're like, "You don't think that that had a factor in it? Like,
No,
how could it?
no, no, not at all.
Especially with the nature of the
Bro,
competitors, like the way they are. Really,
yeah,
dude?
you're talking about someone that actually has the Mamba mentality. You think Devin is going to actually do that? with the team that he has right now, like
For real.
no, that's not taking place. That's not taking place.
Instead of dapping, he would have punched that same baby before he'll do some shit like that. Legit.
Get into the stands or something. Yeah, I don't see that's not real.
But it's not. It's definitely not real. I'm not
Yeah,
saying I believed it,
yeah,
but
I know.
stuff like that is going to continue to crop up, and people being tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists.
Yeah,
That's my favorite sector of the internet, by the way. If
it's
you
very
ever really
interesting.
want to exactly, if you ever really want to delve into the human
I've
mind,
I've come across it a little bit, and I've stayed
you
away.
haven't gone deep enough. You
Not
haven't gone deep
I
enough
have not. I stayed away, man, because I
because,
already
dude,
know. I already know.
they will try to convince you that everything is connected.
No,
And it's
yeah.
funny because sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm like, hold on, this shit makes sense.
Some things
Because
that I have read have make complete sense, right? But I don't want to dive into that rabbit hole,
yeah,
man.
not
Like
at all.
it's one of those things. I know if I were to, that's gonna be one of those things. I'm like,
He's like, I might get sucked in.
I don't want to, man.
I might start believing it. Shit, we could turn this show. You know what we should do? We should have a segment where we pop on the tinfoil hats during the NFL preview show.
I
I'm
would
calling it
love
right
that.
now.
I would love that. Yeah,
We gotta have the prop though. Like we gotta be ready with the aluminum foil to give our takes. That's gonna be fun. I'm looking
that would
forward to
be
it. But
interesting. Yeah,
to segue on from this, I just gotta say, in most cases, the truth is stranger than fiction.
yeah,
But we'll move on. We'll
yeah.
move on right into that series. As of right now, I think do they play tonight or is it tomorrow?
I
I don't
think
think they
it's
play tonight.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yep. So Phoenix and New Orleans, we could start right there. New Orleans surprised a lot of people and came back and won game two after that
Yeah,
injury, of course, forced Devin Booker to the sidelines. And I think a big part, I hope this was true because I read this and I hope I'm not just lying on the show. Um, Zion Williams is set to come back for
get
game
the hell
three.
out. No, he's not.
For game three. That's what I read. Check it. Fact check me right now.
Are you serious?
Yep.
And
And the
look,
memes were out.
I'm telling you right now because I said the same thing when I heard the news that Booker was out for 2 to 3 weeks. That's why I said if I'm New Orleans, I'm going to Zion to see right now. Like, what are you looking like? What is the deal? Because they could actually take this series.
Yep.
Like, and
That second game was interesting, dude.
as
To
soon
see
as
the way
Booker
it
was
played out.
out, it seemed like everything just all hell broke loose. I
Yeah.
don't. Oh no, Phoenix and New Orleans are playing right now.
Oh, see, I'm not crazy.
12-12. Yeah, wow. Yeah, man. I wouldn't be shocked if New Orleans was able to push it to 7. And if they pushed it to 7, this is it's anybody's game at that point. I, oh, that would be so weird, man.
Right.
That would be so weird because they're still gonna lose. But like, yo, if that happened, Chris Paul, the conspiracy theories are gonna come out with Chris Paul now, man. Like, if that were to actually take place, oh my god.
And all eyes are on him now, which I hate because I like Chris Paul.
Yeah, yeah,
But I think he's literally the league's favorite player to shit on. Like I don't know why.
yeah, yeah.
Everyone, no matter what affiliation you have to any NBA team, like people want to hate on Chris Paul. So yeah,
I,
all eyes are on him for the rest of the series
I
for
don't
sure.
understand that. I mean, I know there's a lot of Boston fans that don't like him because I think this is when we were supposed to trade for him. We were supposed to trade Rondo for him, something like that, and whatever.
Yeah, that
Uh,
report was totally bullshit. By the way, sorry,
I
I just brought the fake news to the show. Sorry about
oh you know,
that. So we were talking about the conspiracies, and I just busted it out early. So sorry, I
hey,
totally
well,
didn't fact check that.
honestly though, like I would look to see if he is one that because I mean
That can come back, right?
the videos we've been seeing that I mean he looks like he can at least he can at least play at least 20 minutes
Yeah, for sure.
from what these videos are looking like.
Mhm.
Again, those are just videos and practice speed is different than game speed. or game opposition, but it
Can't hurt.
can't hurt, man. Like it really can't. Ingram is doing his thing, so I wouldn't be
Dude.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if they won this series, man.
Yep, Ingram and
Now,
CJ have stepped up big. Even in game one,
yeah,
you
yeah,
see both of those guys are really doing everything they can to will them to a
yeah,
victory. I like a lot of their supporting pieces too, man. I
yeah,
think they got a lot of fun players, people that really bust their ass on the defensive end.
yeah,
It's fun to watch that series. I think let's rejigger our sort of expectations here.
yeah, yeah.
I still think Phoenix wins in game six, like by game six, it's over.
Hmm.
Um,
They should.
but if they can't, um, I don't know what happens. I don't know how you respond from that. Like I feel like they will be the next meme, and I'll still expect them to do well next season. But they will be the biggest meme in a while for sure.
Yeah, yeah. This the last 2 years has not been a fluke for Phoenix. They have been
Definitely.
a phenomenal team. Even if they were to lose this round, I'm still looking at them as being one of the best teams in the West anyway.
Hmm.
So injuries take place. You just figure out what you need to do for next year and adjust.
For
But
sure.
I'm not writing them off yet. I think they're still able to get the series out. But
Does your
if
prediction
this
change?
for the finals,
Not no 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 no. I wasn't even thinking about that for the just for the series as far as how long it goes, etc.
nah. Well, it changed because at first I thought this was going to be a steamroll, and obviously now that's not the case. Um, I'm starting to think this could be pushed to 6 or 7, and if it is 7, then this I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I really
Yeah,
don't.
man.
I really
It
don't.
says a lot more about the Pelicans than it does about the Suns.
Yeah.
But the Suns are gonna get all the hate for it. So interested to see how it plays out. I'm excited. I think that's one of the series now that everyone's looking at like, uh,
Yeah.
uh. But we can move on, right? That's it for that series that we got to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So let's go to the other side of the bracket. The other 1-8 matchup. We got Miami against Atlanta. Now on this show, we talked about this potential matchup, and it's looking nothing like what we thought. I think that's the first key mention.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buckets has shown up in a
He
big
did.
way,
He
which has
did.
been exciting to watch. What do you think about the series? It looks like it's going to be wrapped up pretty
Yeah. Within the next hour and a half, almost. I think. I think. Well, no, I'm sorry. Miami's it's 110, 109 with 35 seconds to go. So I don't
soon.
know.
Miami's up.
Miami's up,
Yeah,
but if Atlanta steals this one, that'll be interesting. I think this series kind of tells us what we've already known, right?
hmm
Atlanta needs a second go-to guy. You can't just it can't just be a Trey and everyone else.
for
Like you
sure.
had, and I honestly thought Collins was going to be that other go-to guy
I
like
never
two
did.
years ago. 2 years,
I never did.
I swear to God, I will admit it. I thought he was going to be that go-to guy, but he has not turned to be that guy. And I think they need to figure out what they want to do because it's either you double down and just go with this team or you make some trades and figure out who else can come in because there's a lot of stuff that like Trey's doing that's you know he's not playing
Phenomenal.
it's phenomenal, but at the same time like there's more that he can be doing like off ball that he's not doing, you
Yeah,
know.
because
And I
he's for so much attention is forced on him.
Yeah, yeah, and if you have a second threat, then that opens up a lot for you. You know what I'm saying? And Atlanta doesn't have a threat
Yeah.
and have a second threat
I just got to say real quick, Hawks are up 111, 110 with
with
4 seconds
four to
to go.
go. Jesus,
Crazy. Crazy.
they
And
can
we'll give
actually
you the
steal this.
updates
Yeah,
throughout the rest of the show. If they steal this, I think that's crazy. Like that's crazy.
that is that
Because
is.
it really changes the way we looked at this series as a whole. I honestly thought with the way they were able to put the clamps on Trey Young, that
Hmm.
this series is pretty much all but wrapped. I
Yeah,
think even if they win this game for the most part, they're already firmly in a good spot, and Miami has been looking good as a defensive unit first of all. But their
Mhm.
shooting is fun to watch, dude. I
Yeah,
just gotta
yeah,
say real quick for everyone to count him out. Lowry's still that dude. Like, let me just make that clear.
yeah. I don't Lowry Lowry is that guy that you want to build with for sure. Oh, Atlanta won. Atlanta won.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
So it's now 2-1. I yeah,
That was such an ugly shot too. I just watched
yeah,
the shot that they. It was so bad.
yeah. Do you think it's
It's fire.
possible Atlanta can actually push this to 6, 7?
Honestly,
Clint Capella's out. Like,
the only way this is possible is if Trey Young just goes insane. I don't have his stats in front of me, so I don't know how he did this game. But it's gonna take a Herculean effort for him from him, which I
28.
don't doubt him being able to do. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
surprising. Even like I thought it would be more.
24, 24, 8, 24 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds.
Yeah, that's a really nice line. It's gonna take more than that though to
Mm-hmm.
get them to that level, especially when they end up back in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 6 is a safer bet. But I won't be surprised if it ends up getting wrapped in 5, sort of like we thought. But
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope Trey goes crazy. He's one of my favorite villains to watch. Like everyone
Oh
loves to
man.
hate him,
I
and he
love it.
relishes it, man.
I
Yeah,
love it. I love it. But yeah.
you need those guys in the league, like,
You do. You do.
and not a lot of people like taking that role. So
Yeah, no, that's what I appreciate about him, and which I also I think he's never cutting that hair off. Like it just
yeah,
it adds to the look, and like, hey, if roll
never
with it,
fixing
bro.
it up.
Nah, just roll with it, bro.
Nothing, you know.
At this point, hey,
I respect it. I
respect
respect
it
it.
too. Respect it too. That's a baller. That's a real baller right there.
Yes, sir. He ain't worried
So,
about nothing like
nah,
KD.
like
Like
KD, yeah.
KD, when you see what's up. Yeah, the funniest meme, real quick, and we'll might as well go right into that series. The funniest meme I saw was it was like, oh nah, KD got his haircut for the playoffs. It was like Nets in 6. That shit had me crying, bro. I'm like, yo, why they had to do him like that? Oh man.
That's
But
hilarious.
why don't I let you take the lead on what's going on with that series between Boston and the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, man.
Let's start with game 2 because we all saw how game 1 went.
Yeah.
Even with
Kyrie,
Kyrie going crazy, y'all were able to shut everything down.
yeah.
Let's talk about game 2.
Yeah, game two was interesting because KD was held pointless for a whole half,
And locked up.
locked
Like,
up.
it's not because he wasn't trying.
Yeah. And the one thing I found very interesting in the post game was that he started kind of, I wouldn't say, yeah, complaining, more so complaining.
Excuses.
Yeah. I'm getting blitzed. Al Horford's leaving his man to come to me and
What did you expect? Have you
touch
not been
me.
watching film?
This is what I thought happened in basketball. Like, that's
But this team's
basic.
like, this is what they've been doing. Like, have you not been
I,
watching, bro?
bro, I don't I see. Look, did Tatum have the best game in the first half? No, but he showed up in different ways. A lot of people think that you only have to score to affect the game, and that's not
Yep.
that's not true. As great of an offensive player that he is, he's that great of a defensive player. And I think that that's one thing that he doesn't really get as much credit for as he should, because one of the biggest things that I heard uh last month was when Robert Williams went down, was that the defense was going to be significantly impacted by his loss. However, if you've actually been watching the Celtics for the last 3 years, you would know Robert Williams has been missing a good chunk of those games because of injury. They know how to play without Williams. And depending on the matchup, they are going to obliterate that team anyway. And they were doing that with subpar players on the team. So now you got the whole roster bolstered up. Uh and they're playing that high level of on defense. Brooklyn, we talked about this before the series started. Brooklyn, you know what you're gonna get from Kyrie, you know you can get from KD. I mean, at this point, I guess you can't say you do know, but you know what you can get from those guys, right? It's everybody else that you have to wonder about. And one of those everybody's you have to wonder about is someone that is supposed to be coming back. I think game 4, Ben Simmons is supposed to be making his regular season debut
in the
after a
playoffs.
whole year off in the playoffs against the best defense in the league. I don't know how that makes sense. I honestly don't know, like, on what planet that makes sense. And even if he is okay to come back, to me, if let's say for example they lose game 3, I think Boston is splitting in Brooklyn, okay, because of officiating. I'm already calling that. Officiating is going to affect one of these games to where Brooklyn gets it based off of that, right? Um, I think if Boston wins game 3, if I'm Brooklyn, I'm not bringing Ben Simmons back. I'm not debuting him in that.
I think if they
Not in that.
win, they have a better case of doing what you said than if they lose. Like if they
Yeah.
lose, why not? Like that's the way you got to look at it. Why not? You got to
My
try to
thing,
get what you could get.
he just had an epidural like what, a month ago? Like, what are we rushing him out here for?
Yep, that's a
Steve
good
Nash
point.
is not a great coach. Okay, he does not adjust well at all. He's getting obliterated by Amy Udoka.
He's
My bad.
he's the reason that they lost game 2. They should have won. They were up 10 plus at half.
Bro,
Like
they had, I think, at one point a 17-point lead.
yeah, it was looking rough, and I'm not gonna lie. And it's not because I don't like the Celtics, but I was watching it and I'm like, and I was ready. I was ready to come on here talking shit. And
See,
the way you guys pulled it back was remarkable. Real quick,
that
I just want to jump in
that's the
because
adjustment. Go ahead.
there's a lot of things I want to talk about. The first being, I agree with a lot of the things you said about Tatum. I think he's somebody that I personally have slept on. Not as far as his skills and upper bound limit, but as
Mhm.
far as how much he competes on every play.
Yeah.
Like that was something I didn't understand until I've been watching these playoff series very closely.
Mhm.
That dude, y'all were up 10 with a couple minutes left, and he's
Yeah.
slapping the like. I love it.
Yeah.
I love seeing guys like that, especially come playoff time.
Yeah.
Um, and it was just cold, man. Locking up KD, coming on the other side, making big shots. It was really fun to watch. But there is one guy, and I wanted this way. I want to throw it to you. That if someone's not watching these games, they don't understand how big of an
Mm.
impact he had.
I already know.
And you might even not be knowing who I'm talking about yet. Um, Peyton Pritchard is that
Bro,
dude. Like let's just make it
bro,
clear, he is
look.
that dude. And it's funny because he gets a little overshadowed because he plays the same position as Marcus Smart, who you want
Mm,
on the floor a lot.
mhm.
But man, he's a big spark for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and he gets hidden behind Derrick White sometimes too, depending on the matchup. Anyway, so I it's his second year. Like,
Yeah,
I kind of expect that anyway, but
it's for defense, and
it's
you're a
for
defense first
defense.
team. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, yeah. So which makes all the sense in the world as to why Isaiah Thomas didn't come back. I knew that was going to be the case, like in November, December, that was the reason they're going to bring him back. I just wanted him back for sentimental reasons.
Yeah,
But Peyton Pritchard, another guy, Al Horford, like
yeah, man.
those
That's a
those
given though.
two,
We've
yeah,
talked about him a lot,
yeah. But I mean, at his age, playing at that level is something that I think
and on both sides.
on both sides of the ball. I think that's something that needs to be highlighted even more because of the fact that I already know how this is gonna go. Next season comes up, LeBron James is gonna be the talk of the season yet again with his age and his high motor and all that stuff. So I want to highlight Al Horford specifically because I know that's what's going to get overshadowed by LeBron next year. So both those guys, but Peyton Pritchard,
in the fourth
And
specifically, like
bro,
went crazy.
Pritchard is on another level, and I love his confidence.
That's
I
what it
love
is
his
for me.
confidence. Yeah, he's special, man. That's a
Hmm.
special guy right there. I love him.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then real quick, just to balance out the scales a little bit,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a guy that we knew would have an impact, but I didn't think he'll have this much of an impact. Bruce Brown has been going crazy, bro. The fact that he's been making those shots that at first y'all were giving him,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
first
yeah,
y'all wasn't closing out. Now
yeah.
he's forced you guys to do that. I mean, what did he score? 23 in that second game?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, well, if you've seen, his tape, you know that he's someone that has the capabilities of doing something like that, right?
For sure.
But I think it's one
20
of those
points in a playoff game, though.
that's
I
because the
didn't
other
expect
guys
that.
that's
Yeah,
because the other guys weren't doing anything.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we talked about this, right? Like the other guys, the depth that Brooklyn has is not as deep as Boston. I think this would be a much more competitive series had they not traded for
Shit.
Harden. I
Not as
keep
deep as
saying
the
that.
Mavericks. Like, listen, they're not as deep as many teams in this playoff race that's left. Derrick has left the building, guys. It is now between I and the gamer chair. Like, bro, Boston. I honestly can convincingly say behind teams like Atlanta, like
Yeah,
there's very few teams that are as top heavy as the Nets are.
bro. Brooklyn confuses the hell out of me. Like I already told you, I don't think they're winning this series. Okay, that to me
For sure.
that was a given. I didn't think they would win this series. I'm already looking at next season for them. Because I really don't see how this is what I think is going to be a biggest issue going into the off season for them. I believe KD, and I'm not trying to make up a narrative or whatever. I'm just thinking more so a logical, perspective. I think it's going to irritate KD a little more that Kyrie was out for so long during the season, refusing to get vaccinated. Like, I think those what ifs are going to start coming up. Like, what if he was here?
Mm-hmm.
How much higher would have seed would they have been? How much of an easier first round would they have had? You know what I'm saying? Like how deep they could have gone with that path. I think
But you would
those
have had to face that team anyway, so I don't really believe in that too much. Yeah,
look. I figured we were going to face Brooklyn at some point. That's why I was saying let's have him first round.
you've been
I don't.
asking for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I want him. I want him. I like let's take it on. But I don't think that. I think they would have. I think they could have gotten to the second round had they been a higher seed or like yeah yeah had they at least been around like 3 or 4, they would have had an easier a route to the second round. But this Robert Williams is coming back tomorrow, bro. Like
exactly,
I don't know what else you
exactly.
think is like what they think they're gonna be able to do.
But they
Who's
you
guarding
could
him?
you got to admit though, you got to admit they could look at that game too and say we got stuff to build on here, especially at home. Like I don't think the series is wrapped yet. I agree with you though. I think with the way both games has played out, there's more of a case to say Boston's going to win this series
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying that Brooklyn should be favored or anything crazy like that, but I think especially with the way game two started, they're feeling a lot more confident, regardless of if the way they lost coming out of that game than they did before. Because even with Kyrie going insane game one,
Hmm.
they got clapped. Like let me make
Oh,
that wasn't a close game.
bro,
So
yeah.
I think they're a little bit more confident even coming off the loss. But I agree with you, man. I think come game six, this should probably be wrapped up.
Yeah, I'm saying 5 because of the fact that I think they want to split in Brooklyn. I really I don't see how this is going to go any further than that. And
For sure.
it's not even like overlooking them because I think what KD brings to the table, what Kyrie brings to the table are phenomenal, right? But everyone else, I think Seth Curry is the only guy I don't have a question mark about.
Yeah.
Everyone else, I like this is not a defensive team. They
But
don't play
they
defense.
have been playing defense, especially in that first half.
They
You can't say
no,
they haven't.
okay, they were, but I'll put it like this. I
They
think
get
it was a
worn
mixture.
down. They
It
get
was a
worn down,
mixture.
man.
They do, but it was a mixture though, because there was a lot of stupid like things happening on Boston's end that I think Brooklyn capitalized on.
You could argue some forced, but I get it.
Some force, but no, some were forced for sure. But I think like one I know Jalen Brown just lost the handle out of bounds. I think he stepped out of bounds too. Like those stupid things like that you have control over. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
there was a lot of that taking place, and then they missed a lot of free throws. So I'm not worried about Boston.
And
I
still came up and won
still
by
won the
more
game.
than 10 points.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm not worried about Boston.
I was worried. At halftime, I was worried for you.
I
I was
I
because I was gonna
wasn't.
come on the show talking shit, bro.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. Had this been December, yes, but since the end of December, beginning of January, they've been even in games where they've been down, they've found a way to get back into it, take over, and win the game. I've seen it multiple times, so it's like
Hmm.
that's just how I took it. I was like, okay, this is a bad first half. There's more game to be played.
For sure, and hell of a lot more game to be played.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick, I told you I had some trivia for you. Uh,
Oh
this
yeah.
is this is the big one right here.
Okay.
I think this is the only one I have, so I talk some shit, but
Okay.
either way, um, so Celtics historically,
Hmm.
this is gonna show how much of a Celtics fan you are. I think this is why
Okay.
it's very important that I brought this up.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Celtics have, well, first of all, I'm gonna ask you,
Hmm.
do you know the record of Celtics playoff games when they are already up 2 games?
40-1.
Right off the top of the mind, you love to hear it. I'm glad you were able to tell me. Who was that one?
Cleveland, 2018.
Yep, 17, but you got
17. Yeah.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I love it. I love it. I knew you would know.
Yeah.
I just had to make sure because if you didn't,
Yeah.
there was gonna be some shade being thrown your way, brother.
Hey,
But
yo, hold on. Let me
yeah,
ask you a
that
question real
does
quick.
not spell good things for Brooklyn.
Why in the hell are everybody? Why is everybody comparing that LeBron team beating that Boston team to KD and Kyrie?
They're not. They're not.
What?
I
No.
just think that stat has been thrown out, so that's why.
What?
I have
What
not
is that
seen
about though?
anything about
I'm not talking about on. I'm not talking about on like ESPN or anything like that. I don't watch them like
those
that.
things.
So I don't even know if they're talking about this on there. What I've seen on social media for the last day and a half is them talking, saying that, oh, LeBron beat this team. Why can't KD and Kyrie beat this team? They're not the same team. They don't have the same coach. What are we?
Years apart.
Those are
Yeah,
like 4 years apart. What are we talking about here? Like
legit. That
that was
makes no sense.
that was Tatum's rookie year. What are we discussing here?
Yeah, legit. Ah, yeah, that just gave me a bad taste in my mouth because I haven't seen any of that. So yeah, that's funny that you mentioned that. That's weird. Yeah,
Yeah, very weird.
that's some this some guys taking in the copium. That's
Yeah.
what that sounds like. They want this to happen so bad. They're trying to
It's the
find the
LeBron
angle.
stands, man. I don't understand why, every time LeBron is out of the playoffs or, whatever it is, like we have to bring him up in such a way that he's still the
I
top of the
get it.
conversation. I don't get it. It's
I get
annoying.
it.
This is the reason why LeBron annoys me.
I
It's
agree. But
him.
hey, I would say that was the narrative towards the latter end of Kobe's career as well. I think you're gonna get that no matter what if you're an all-time great, in my opinion.
Fair enough.
Got him. Got him. You love to hear it. But let's move on to the other 2 to 7 matchup on the
Yeah.
other side of the bracket, which has been so fun to watch. Let me just say this real quick. This has been the series that I made sure I have not missed a minute of.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah. Yeah.
watched every minute of this series.
Yeah.
Utah and the Dallas Mavericks have been having a hell of a series.
Mhm.
And I just gotta say it. We talked about this earlier. Um, with other guys as far as showing confidence, Jalen Brunson, and you talked about this last week. So I just
Bro.
want to give you the floor on this. Is that dude? And there was, and the funniest thing is after game 2, I saw a random ass report and I got a notification for it. They're like, Indiana's looking to sign Jalen
Saw
Brunson
that.
next season. I'm
Like,
like, what the fuck? Who's not watching this? A, but
yeah. Yeah.
who's in cahoots with the Pacers at Bleacher Report that wanted that out to the fans? I don't know.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, like Brunson is one of those guys that I don't know if, well, I do know he's not the guy you build around, but he's one of those guys you want as your second or third. Like
for sure.
he is a phenomenal player. Great basketball IQ. He plays hard on defense. Like that's the kind of guy you want to build a team with. I don't see how Dallas lets him go. I wanted
I
to actually
agree.
trade for him in the last offseason. I wanted to trade for him because I
Mhm.
knew it was still gonna be like a lower price type of thing. But I mean, he's one of those guys that I don't see who wouldn't want him.
Yep.
Dallas is not getting rid of him though, because
Yeah,
you're
for sure.
seeing what they're doing without Luca. Luca's
My
coming back.
question is, yeah, real quick, real soon too. My question is, do you think that says more about the Dallas team than it does about the Utah team? Because I personally think it says a lot more about Utah than it does about Dallas.
I think it's both. I think both can exist at the same time because Utah is pretty pathetic at this point. I don't. You're not even facing Luca. Luca is about to get out the first round, and he's not even the reason why.
Yep.
Is that not weird?
Very weird.
Like, what are we talking about here? Uh,
Yeah.
Utah has to like. This is it. This is it. That like these. If Utah loses the series to Dallas, I don't want to hear anything else about Rudy Gobert even being in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, right? Even though I know it's a regular season award, but you cannot turn it off in the playoffs.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like not only that, one of them got to go.
Hmm.
One of them has to go. This is not something that you can't keep these guys together anymore. If they
Dude,
lose, this is it.
bro, I just gotta say this right now. There's been a lot of times during this series that I'm like, you know what? Jordan Clarkson and Boban are the real staples of this team. Like I'm watching this, like if there's anyone they gotta keep, bro, it's those two guys.
Yeah,
Make
yeah,
Clarkson starter,
yeah.
find some other pieces, get whatever assets you could get for those bigger names,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I think you got a good team on your hands.
I,
Honestly,
are you splitting them up in terms of keeping one and trading out the other? Or are you sending them both out?
I think you try to keep one and send out the other. I think just with the writing on the wall, you lean towards going bear, as I like to do. But besides, I'm sorry, I had to. But besides that, I think if they can keep Mitchell, that'll be the biggest surprise, in my opinion.
I will be
Like,
shocked.
yeah,
I'll be shocked. I think he's already out the door. I don't see. I really don't see what the purpose is of staying for him. Like he wants to win. You're not winning in Utah.
yeah.
I know people keep talking about the New York Knicks. He's not winning in New York. So what's the point? If he's gonna go to New York, he might as well stay in Utah. Like what?
Yep.
I, I,
Dude, the crazy part about it though, it's not like Mitchell's not going crazy. Like let's make
no,
that clear.
that's the
He is
wild
doing
part.
everything he can.
Yeah, man, I feel bad for him because he deserves to be able to contend. He's one of those guys that you want to see win. I know. At some point, we're gonna hear this whole. Guarantee. I guarantee. If Utah loses this series, okay, do you know the first Photoshop uniform that man will be standing in?
Of course I do.
Which
Of
one?
course I do. You know I live here, right? Like I live here, right? It's the fucking Knicks, and Spike Lee is gonna be in the
Bro,
background.
it's gonna Madison Square Garden and like you're gonna see everything. Miami's the other one though.
Yep.
Miami Twitter for some reason they're like I don't understand why, but it's every single time that they seem to be like the first ones to throw up the Photoshop uniform, whether they get the guy or not. They're the first ones to throw it up. Gordon,
LeBron,
bro,
KD,
Gordon Hayward.
Kyrie, all of them, bro. All of them. I've
It's
seen
like
everyone in a Knicks
everyone has
jersey.
everyone has been either in a Knicks jersey or in a Miami Heat jersey. I've literally seen everyone in it. Like I,
And I feel like those Heat jersey swaps are the worst photoshops
they're
out
the
of all
worst
of them.
ones.
They look so bad quality wise.
New York looks high quality with their Photoshop. I don't know
Yes,
what.
sir.
I don't know if like some of the photo editors in Miami are like,
You know how I feel about that part of, of America.
I don't know if they sniffing a little something down there, man. Those editors don't really. They just like, hey, let's just throw something up, put it on Bleacher Report. Like,
Yes, sir.
even
They ain't
take the
even going
time.
to Canva
They
for that
don't.
one.
They
They
don't care, man. They don't. But yeah, man, Utah. I don't even feel bad for them. I don't even understand
yeah, me neither.
I don't understand what we're talking about with in terms of anything with Utah. Like Clarkson is one of those guys you definitely want to build with.
Yeah, real quick,
He
I just
for
gotta
sure.
say this real quick. Every time I see Juancho Hernan Gomez on the floor, it is an episode of Shacked and a Fool. Get that
Yeah, yeah.
man off the court. I don't care how tired your front court is. Get that man off the court. That's all I got to say about this series. And I honestly have been the most shocked. If any team has shocked me, it's been the Jazz because they have been shitting the bed heavy. And I don't think it's going to stop here
I don't even know. Look, if even if they were to somehow get out this round, they're not winning the second round.
for sure.
If you're struggling against a Luca less team,
I haven't even seen what the matchup's supposed to look like yet.
bruh,
Yeah. They're gonna get cooked. Yeah.
yeah, this is not gonna be fun for them. It's not gonna be fun
And
for them.
real quick, I just want to say I spoke out of turn, and we can move on with this. I don't know why, but this was clearly the matchup I wanted to talk about. Let's go to the actual 2-7 matchup, which I threw it saying it was, but it wasn't. Dallas is 4, Utah
Yeah,
is 5. Sorry
yeah.
about that. I already know someone was in the comments talking shit. Uh, Memphis and we in Minnesota now. Um, I just I just gotta say it, bro. Like I said it on this show. If Cat has bad games, Minnesota's gonna lose. And what happened? Even in a game that they were up, he throws up a bad game, and Memphis is able to come back from a huge deficit. So we favored Memphis going into this.
Yeah,
It's been more competitive than I thought it would be,
yeah,
because of the dynamic we laid out. Like, I mean, we know who's going off,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
not Cat.
yeah.
So, but what do you think about how this series has been playing out?
um, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. Cat. I love the guy. I love him, but like that can't happen right there. That can't happen. Memphis to me was. I told you. I think they're very capable of getting to the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
If they whether they're going to make it or not, I think it's just going to be depend on whether Devin Booker is back in time. If the Phoenix Suns can get past um I think get past they playing again. I don't know why I'm blanking out. It's my turn
They're
now.
playing Minnesota.
Minnesota. No, Phoenix.
Oh yeah,
Who
Phoenix is playing the Pelicans.
Pelicans, thank you. If for some reason they do get bounced by the Pelicans, I think that opens the door up even more for Memphis to be able to get to the Western Conference Finals against the Warriors. Um, but they have a different grit to them, bro. This is reminding me of that team with Zebo and Tony Allen, like
Yeah,
how they were balling down there.
grind time,
That this is what it's starting to remind me of them, but just younger,
and
you
we're
know.
shooting.
And with shooting, yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Memphis is doing what they're supposed to be doing. Minnesota, I don't know what you do. We talked about this last week. If they lose this series, something's got to shake up. It can't be that you just bring everybody back, right? Like
Yeah,
something's got to
need to
shake.
add something.
Yeah, whether you're trading someone or you're making a move for another player to add to this. They got to do something because this is not it. This is not
for
it.
sure.
And I think a coaching change could be imminent too.
I feel that. I just don't want to be as hard on them, just given how
Yeah,
game 3 went and how
yeah,
competitive things have been in general.
yeah,
I mean, stealing game 1 at home was huge.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
fact that they were
yeah.
able to do that, but then giving back up the home court advantage is not where you want to
It's
be
not where you
either,
at all.
especially after you were up big.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be competitive no matter how it shakes out. And I think that saves a little face for those guys coming back. But I agree with you, man. I think there's a lot of people on the hot seat, especially if things go astronomically bad. Because let's be
Mm-hmm.
real, things have been going very well for them in a way that a lot of people haven't anticipated. But
Mm-hmm.
we knew this series was going to be a lot closer than people thought,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
But
that's why I don't feel bad that in our bracket Minnesota got pretty far because
yeah, yeah,
we see why.
yeah. No, I definitely believe that Minnesota's winning this series. I had no doubts. I mean,
Hey,
I'm sorry,
Memphis,
Memphis. I have no doubts
double
about
M's.
Memphis. Yeah, it's just throwing me off tonight. I'm sorry.
It's
It's
all good. It's
the
10:50. It's
the
all
ways the chicken wings are getting to me, bro. Like,
chicken wings.
but no, I think.
I thought it was the buzz that made you a little crazy, but now it's
Oh
the chicken
no,
wings.
no,
I
it's
love
the
it. I
chicken
love
wings.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, this is my natural state. I think I think that Memphis was winning this anyway, but I think
Yeah,
it depends on how Minnesota loses this. Is
yeah.
what's going to determine a lot. And if you have times where Cat is just kind of like I don't want to say
A
giving up,
pedestrian.
but yeah, yeah, pedestrian. Yeah. If you're having moments like that, and then the body language, like to me, it's just
Hmm.
those two things you don't want to see. And if you're losing with that taking place, I don't know who else you bring in there at this point that would bolster this. I don't.
I honestly feel like he already made the case for why he's coming back,
I
regardless of
think
if
so
the
too.
rest of the how the
I
rest of the
think so too.
series shakes out.
Yeah, yeah,
But I agree with you. I think they have to make moves around them to fix the holes,
yeah,
especially I think in their front court depth wise. I think
yeah,
that's what we've really seen in this series.
yeah,
This is another team that I feel like has been worn down in
yeah,
multiple games, where you
yeah.
see the sort of physical nature really affect the team towards the fourth quarter of things. Go ahead.
You need another go-to guy, right? In Minnesota,
Don't don't tell me. Don't tell me this is what I think it is.
it might not be. What about
Okay.
Bradley Beal?
Oh man, who says no to getting Bradley Beal on their team? No matter what team it is,
I mean,
that dude is nice. Like
he's nice. He's
I
nice,
agree. I like
and
that.
that might be a place not that is sexy for Beal, but for the Timberwolves, if they were able to get him, I think that's someone that in those moments where Cat is in that rut. Okay, I think in those moments where he's in there, you have someone that Ant can run with that will that can still keep that spark going no matter how he's
Dreadful
doing.
things get because
Yeah,
things get dreadful. For some
real
reason,
fast, real fast.
I don't know why. I feel like I think his upper bound limits is why the games that he has like this makes us go, what the fuck? Because let me just make it clear.
Mm.
On the other side, another front court player that's dominant. Uh, if Joel Embiid had a night the way Cat had a
Oh,
night, it'll be way more of a surprise. So
yeah.
I think that's the problem with Cat. Like the highest ceiling that he has a very high ceiling as far as the things he can do.
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's also a very low floor, and that's not a good place to be as a star player because so
Mm-hmm.
much is expected of you. And if you're known for ended up in that spot a lot more often than most guys,
Yeah,
a lot of the blame is going to fall on you. I mean,
for
we're
sure.
doing it now, so it
Yeah,
makes a lot of
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
But yeah, man, Beal will be nice there for sure.
It would be interesting. It'd be interesting. So
They need something,
they
whoever
need
it
something.
is.
They need a spark. That's
Shit,
all I
get
know.
Alex Caruso
Bro,
over there. Get anybody. It'll help. I just love real quick. I just want to say this. I love that Pat Beverly is out there having fun.
Oh,
because as in the beginning of that game, bro, it was
yeah,
so fun.
yeah,
I was losing it. I was like, yo, the Timberwolves are gonna go up 2-1.
yeah,
And he was
yeah,
talking shit to everybody. It was just great. I love
yeah.
watching him play. He's another one of those guys that competes on every single possession. But we'll move on because this, I don't know why this series got a lot more talk than probably every series so far.
It's all
Um,
good.
let's go to the East, the 3-6 matchup.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, let's keep it uniform because we left out the 4-5 earlier. Philly versus Toronto. Now,
Mm,
this is my second biggest surprise here.
mm.
Um, I don't think Toronto shit the bed. I think this is saying a lot more about the Sixers than anything, and it's been
Yeah.
really exciting for me, someone that picked them to go to the finals.
Yeah. I mean, well, the thing about it, I think that sucks is that Scotty Barnes went down, right?
Yeah.
Like that's excuse me. They had already they went into the series hampered anyway. So him going down was just like nail in the coffin almost. But they're still fighting. It's not like they're laying down for anyone. Um it's put it like this. Your prediction of Philly going to the finals, I don't think it was a bad prediction. Um I don't think it's happening, but I don't think it was a bad prediction. Especially
When I said it, you did. When I said it,
look,
I was ahead of that boat.
they're one of the
I'm
top
happy to
teams.
say.
Listen, they're one of the top teams for sure. I don't have a problem saying that. My reason for saying they weren't going to the finals because they're not beating Boston. Like that's just I don't care if it's Eastern Conference Finals. I don't care what it is. They're not beating Boston, Milwaukee either. So I think the East goes through Boston. You know that's
I
what
like to hear that.
that's what I believe.
I would expect you to
Um,
say nothing less.
well, no, I would say something else if I thought it was true.
I find that
I
hard to believe.
no,
Yeah,
trust
I
me.
love you, bro.
No, trust
I
me,
find
trust
that hard to believe.
trust me. I was listen before you came on. I was talking about the Celtics last year, saying at in January they were done. There was no
Mm.
way they were going to do anything. Like that's not a good team. So I'm honest. Okay, I will tell you if I think that someone else has a better shot at getting to the finals. I don't think Philly has it. But I think what hurts them a little more is that news came out today of Embiid having ligament damage in his thumb, and I don't know what the severity of it is. I think they're going to do an MRI on it tomorrow or something like that to see what it is. But um, playing with a torn ligament in your thumb is not that.
Anytime they bringing up the ligmas, no matter what part of the body it is, you having a hard time. Like
Yeah,
that's an
yeah,
internal injury that's very hard to heal if you're
yeah,
actively playing.
yeah. So that's the one thing that I think Embiid is definitely going to play through it. That's not even a question. I like he's one of those.
At a high level as well.
He yeah, and he's an old school type of player. So he's going to play through the injury no matter
For
what.
sure.
But I think that's going to end up taking its toll on him, however far they go. But I think that they want to finish this series up fast
Yep.
for sure. So you get this next win, wait for your opponent.
Yeah, wait for your opponent. I have to mention this because I think it's very important. I think the way that Joel Embiid has been out of his mind and Tyrese Maxey has really stepped up in this series has made James Harden take a step back in
Isn't
everyone's
that interesting?
conversation, which I really love
Yeah.
because um, all the shit talk on them coming into the series or in general in the playoffs is like, oh, but we know how James Harden is in these spots. And I'm not saying he's had a bad playoff series because he has
Mm,
not.
mhm.
But all the blame isn't being put on him because so many other guys are doing so much. Um,
So let me ask you about that though,
yep,
because isn't that what you brought him there for? To be your second like guy? If he
100%.
if he's not doing that, I don't know. I don't know what the purpose was for getting him. I'll just put it
For
like that.
sure.
If he's not doing anything, I'm not saying that he's not doing anything, but if he's not doing what you brought him there to do, what was the
Yep.
purpose of trading for him?
And let's read off the line.
Yeah,
Um, he has 18.3 points, which is fourth on the team. He's
that's
averaging
wild.
almost 6 rebounds and 10 assists, the most on the team.
That's wild.
And I like it because
It
let me
yeah,
be
yeah,
real.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
he was putting up the shots the way we know him to,
Mm,
and Maxi wasn't getting the looks that he's getting,
mhm.
this is a different series.
Oh yeah, for sure,
So
for sure.
I think he stepped up in a role that not many people expected him to be in. He didn't even expect to be in a way that's going to help this team win. And I think that matters a lot more
It does.
than his production, his individual production. But
It
let's be
does.
real. If anyone said Tobias Harris was scoring more points per game than James Harden in this series, we would assume Toronto at least stole one game, right?
Not only stole one game, I would have thought that person was smoking. And
And
I
they
don't
probably
care
are.
what you're
They
talking
probably
about.
are.
Like it could be anything. Like there's no way that that was going to be something that was going to happen. But
Yeah,
I can appreciate it because it's an adjustment that needed to be made.
for
You know what I'm
sure.
saying? Like Harden can't be that guy that it's weird to say. I personally don't know if you can look at him as being like the leader of a team anymore.
Yeah.
So I think
He
it's
never
good that
was though.
he
He never was
wasn't,
that guy.
but he was.
He wanted to be
Yeah, 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 yeah. Especially in Houston. Especially
for
in
sure.
Houston. Um,
And we saw how that went.
I think that he did what was necessary, but going forward, like
There's still questions.
there's
Yep.
questions. It's I'm not sold on Tobias keeping that up, and I'm not sold on Harden keeping this up.
I honestly think there's more room for Harden to look better than there is for him to look worse.
For
um,
sure, for sure, for sure.
but I get what you mean
But
for sure.
if especially if let's say Embiid has to sit out a game or something like that,
Yeah,
or even if he's playing, he's not playing the
the
bully
way
ball
they
he needs to
expect.
play.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to go for that next guy to show up, and I'm not expecting Harden to be that guy.
for sure.
You traded for him to be that guy, but that's not what's
You know who
happening.
I think everyone on that team is looking at right now and saying, "What the fuck?" Thibault.
Yo,
This dude has disappeared, bro. Disappeared. I believe he's averaging 4 points per game in the playoffs. Crazy. Another one of
I
those
don't get
stats that if
why.
you heard, you're like, they probably lost the series already.
Yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. I
And
don't get what's going
Maxi
on.
just took a took a
Yo,
jump. He's averaging one less point than Embiid. He's been going
nah,
crazy, and it's been fun to watch. And I saw the flashes of that during the regular season as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I
You
knew
did.
it was there,
Mhm.
but every game like this, like I didn't expect that to happen at all.
And I'll say this: not this is not an excuse, right? But they are playing the Raptors, so
We
I'm trying
can't
to
we
hold
can't
on.
come on this show.
I'm
I'll let
just
you finish. Sorry.
I'm just saying I want to see this against another team.
I'm gonna start saying that about the Celtics when we're talking about
That's
but they're
perfectly
playing the
fine.
Nets.
No, that's perfectly fine. I don't care. But I'm just saying, like because the Raptors are so injured, that's why I'm saying that. Like this is not the Raptors a month ago, right? They're
Yeah,
still
for sure.
they're hurt. So I want to see this against a healthier team. If you're able to continue this against a healthier team, to me, that's a different conversation. So
I get that.
I'm holding my I'm reserving my judgment on this team in terms of like where they're going to go right now. Playing like this, I'm reserving that for the next round because I want to see if you can do it in the next round.
I respect that.
That's my only thing.
The only reason I feel like that's a little unfair
Mm-hmm.
is because yes, I agree. A big part of why we were making these predictions was Scotty Barnes, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
not
yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
But we were very high on the Raptors coming into the series, both of us, not just me.
Yes, yes. No,
And
I most definitely was.
for sure, and I
Yeah.
just feel like when things are all said and done, I'm pretty sure at this rate, it's gonna be Game 5 because I don't think they sweep. Like I really
That
don't think they
no.
sweep. But let me
Well,
say this real quick:
I think they could.
they could, but I don't think they do. I think if there's anything I've been more firm in is the fact that there is not a player in the league
Mm.
that has, to my memory, please tell me if I'm wrong,
Mm.
that has the skills that Embiid has on both sides of the field. And I've
At his
said this
position,
many times before on this show, but this has reaffirmed it for me.
yeah.
Coming up big on defense multiple times,
Mm.
multiple, not just one, multiple times per
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And this dude really looks like a three-level offensive player at the center position that can
Yeah.
take the ball down the court. Like they I was trying to think of comparisons, right? And the only comparison I feel like I can make, and it's so weird because their demeanors are so different.
Mm.
Um, and this isn't even a fair comparison. But Tim Duncan, he's the only person that came to mind
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
far as
I see why
a
you say that
proper
though.
comparison.
I see why you say
And it's just been so fun to watch, man. I'm fully gushing, as you can see.
that.
I think it's fair to say if you're a fan of a certain conference team, you could have a fan base on the other side that you're leaning a little bit more towards. The Sixers is that team for me now. Just
I
saying.
I love Embiid. I love Embiid, but I think to be completely honest, I think one of the reasons why we're seeing him play the way that he is right now is because he just got started playing basketball like what 9 years
5 years.
ago. Like it wasn't long ago. Like he just started playing basketball, and so for him to be able to get drafted into the NBA to go through what he's gone through in Philly, like he's gone through a lot of changes over the last couple of years, right? For him to do that and take it up another level every year, to me, he is the MVP of the season. I like I understand everyone's argument for Jokic, right? But Embiid is he's playing at a level that I don't even know if we've seen him do this. No, we haven't.
Never.
We
Yeah.
haven't seen him do this even in the last 2 years. So I think
Stats wise, people will say
yeah,
it's the same Embiid, but you're
it's
not watching the games if
the
you're saying that.
impact. It's the impact that he has on the game because I mean he was doing this. He was the stats. He was putting those stats up when we were obliterating Philly.
But it was
Like
a
come on,
different
that
way,
was,
which
and
is
that
crazy.
was different. And so I'm excited to see what he does. Right,
Mhm.
like I'm excited. But no, I like that's why I was saying earlier. I think he's one of those guys that reminds me of like an old school type of player. You know that Shaq level of play. Like
He's getting doubled, tripled, and he's still confidently rising up and
yo,
hitting fadeaway jumpers like Kobe
threes,
from the elbow.
threes. Like, what is that?
It's nuts.
That doesn't even make sense. So yeah, no, I love Embiid. I love Embiid. Same conference, right?
Hmm.
But I love the guy.
Yeah.
I love him.
Who we'll move on. Who's your West counterpart? Because I know you have to have one. There has to be a
My
Western
West.
Conference team that
I
you're
don't have a
like
team.
that. I don't believe that, man. I
No,
feel
I
like
only have one team. Now, other teams that I look at, I'm like, oh, I like those. I love those guys right there. Phoenix for sure.
so that'll be your number one if you had to pick one. That'll be the West team you will root for. That's
I'm
what
not
I'm
rooting for
asking.
anyone. No,
You don't feel that way, man?
no,
I mean, I guess
no.
it's because my team is in the
Nah,
absolute
nah.
trenches right now that I feel
I
that
don't
way.
listen. Listen, I want to see. I want to see three different matchups. Right. I have an argument for three different finals matchups, and it's Boston coming out the East of all three. Just spoiler alert.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Um, but it's versus Phoenix, Golden State, or Memphis. I loved all the matchups that I've seen with them this season. So I want to see one of those in the finals. I don't care which one. I want to see one of them. And
Hey, don't be
you know,
surprised if it's the Mavs.
hey, if it's a Mavs, we winning that in five.
Whew, I like that. I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
But let's move on. Let's move on because we got two series left and it's getting late
Oh
over
man,
here.
we do. Shoot.
Yeah, we got two series left, baby. Let's go with the easier one to talk about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Warriors and Denver. I've been watching this. This has also been a fun series.
It has.
Um, so I made a tweet, right? You
Mhm.
got to reference the tweets on the show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where I was saying, if award considerations went into the first round of the playoffs, which I get why it doesn't. Let me
Mm,
just make that clear. I get why it doesn't. But if it
mhm.
did, the clear MVP winner would be Embiid. Now, if we're talking
Clearly.
about for sure. And if we're talking about most improved, I think the clear winner would be Jordan Poole.
Should be.
And the fact that he wasn't in that conversation at all is definitely crazy to me. But Warriors in the playoffs are a scary team to
They're
face.
fun. They're
Yeah,
fun.
man, really fun.
Yeah.
I've had a ball with this series because this is another one where Denver isn't laying down. Like they're
Mm.
competing and everyone's shitting on Denver like as if they're some bad team.
I don't understand that. I honestly don't get
I don't
that.
either. Just because they're
Yeah.
down 3-0 doesn't mean these games haven't been competitive.
See that we've been talking about this all year. Ever since you came onto the show, we've been talking about this. Uh, uh, uh. Every record is not the same. So a 3-0 with Golden State, Denver is different than a 3-0 versus with Philly versus Toronto, right?
For sure.
That's different. That those aren't even the same things. So Denver to me, they just got to run it back. They
Yeah,
they're losing this matchup. There's no
for
way in
sure.
hell they're able to win this one. But they just got to run this back
For sure. With everyone healthy
with everyone
and
healthy.
it's gonna be a big difference. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
entirely different team with everyone
yeah,
healthy. So
yeah.
I'm excited to see that because their upper bound limits as a team is up there as well. I think
Crazy.
a big turnaround expected for next season.
Yeah.
But I just gotta say I've loved to see the tears of everyone who has been hating on the Warriors lately, as they've just been showing why they deserve to be up in that conversation to being in the finals for sure.
Mhm,
Um, I think they're clicking in a way that the end of the season didn't suggest they would, which has been really exciting to watch.
mhm,
And that's what you want, right? Like as a basketball fan, that's what you want. You want to see these teams really meet their potential, especially at this point of the season.
mhm.
And man, that Warriors team is fun to watch, dude.
They really are. They really are. I think there's no doubts that their like floor is the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no question about it. I think if you don't believe that, you're not watching.
Yeah, and you're lying to yourself.
And
There's a,
lying to
there's a, there's
yourself.
some copium involved
Yeah, yeah, their floor is Western Conference Finals, man. I think they're clicking on all cylinders. But that's what you want to see at this time of year anyway. Like even if it's not at the very like the last couple of games because some guys are off or whatever, like you just want to be able to see that the guys that are coming off the bench are gonna have that spark. That's what you're basically looking for in the last couple of games, right? Jordan Poole, you mentioned it, most improved player. To me, I don't have a I could, there's an argument to be made for him and for Robert Williams to have been mentioned in the most improved player for sure.
discussion. Yeah.
Like why John Morant is even named in that,
In that conversation
I
makes
don't
no
even.
sense.
If you're a
Y'all
lottery
wasn't
pick,
watching last year.
if
Like that's what it feels
look,
like.
aside from Markel Fultz, if you're a lottery pick, there's no way in hell that you should ever be in most improved.
I like that. That's a
This
good rule right
I,
there.
they should institute that. That doesn't even make sense to me. That doesn't
I
even
like
make
that.
sense.
This is why we do our award show here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is why. Because shit like this don't make no sense.
Because why? If you're a lottery pick,
Yeah,
you should be that level. That's your projection, right? That you should be one of these guys. So that I don't like at all. But yeah, Jordan Poole, Robert Williams, those are guys that I think should have easily been in that conversation. And I wouldn't have been even minded seeing Jordan Poole win that award. You
for
know,
sure. Which
um,
is why I'm so surprised he wasn't even in the top three. Like, it
it
makes no sense to me.
it's weird. That's weird to me. But yeah, obviously Golden State has a future on their hands,
For sure.
right?
Yep.
They got
And
they
and
got the future
and
guy.
and they don't have to. They're not gonna have to rebuild. You're just gonna have to retool, which is a scary. Like everyone shitted on the Warriors when they were out of the playoffs, and I was like, no, no,
I don't understand
please
why,
don't, please
I,
don't, because they've gotten better. They were getting better,
bro.
and we haven't even seen Wiseman on the fucking court.
I
So
I look. It's I think what everybody should have wanted to see is Golden State not be in the lottery.
yep. Instead of what happened.
because
Kaminga's been out.
I mean, come on. They've been able to retool without having to rebuild and really not lose much of a step, right? You took those 2 years off because you had guys that were out, and now everybody's back, and you got weapons.
And you got a team that's not only scary now, but guaranteed to be scarier every year. Like
Yeah,
every year they
for the
develop.
minimum next 5 years,
Yeah. And Moody is
minimum.
that guy too.
Yeah, yeah,
Please,
yeah,
I
yeah,
encourage
yeah,
anybody to watch his tape from this season
yeah.
because he is that guy too. And it's just been really fun to watch. I think that's a team that does it the right way, which is
Mhm.
always, I think it's very important to see those teams get rewarded. And
Yeah.
that's all coming to fruition here. I
I
love
just
to see
I
it.
just hope that Wiseman can get healthy, because if he can get healthy and they can actually have a legit five,
Unstoppable, right? Like unstoppable. Like
I don't.
and the variation, like they could have entirely defensive lineups, they could have entirely offensive lineups. It's a nightmare.
That's
Like
scary as hell.
I think they're 100% the first person in the discussion when you're talking about the deepest team in the NBA
Mm,
when at full capacity, and they haven't been all season and still became the third seed and are now up 3-0 against the consensus final not finals MVP in Jokic. So
yeah,
exciting
yeah,
times in Golden State. I know Nat will be happy hearing this back.
yeah. But I'm gonna say something that is gonna piss her off too, because I gotta dig.
You got to balance it up a
I
little
have
bit.
to balance it out. I would actually say, and you're talking about depth on the teams.
Oh my God, bro! Don't do it. OKC, OKC is the deepest team in the league. Yeah, no, I respect that too. And guys like Peyton Pritchard, guys like yeah,
Derrick White,
I can't hate on that.
Grant
I
Williams,
was gonna say Derrick White, but I didn't want to
Daniel
because
Tice,
he still
right?
hasn't played the way he can, and that's scary to think about because he's still contributed a lot for you guys.
Who that? Grant Williams
Derrick, no,
or
I
Derrick
said
White?
Derrick White hasn't played to the level he can,
Oh
and
yeah, 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 yeah,
he's still
yeah,
played very well for you guys.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So that's a shout out to Nat.
and we'll move on. I love it. I love it. I can't wait till OKC is good because I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna
You
be
should.
insufferable
You
because
should.
I've waited. I'm loyal.
You
Okay,
should.
it's not many. There's not many of us.
When
You know
you
what I'm
sit
saying?
and wait through the building process, you should be able to talk your talk about your team,
Dude, there is not one OKC fan from my time in high school that has survived the way I have. There's not one. Point
bro.
them out to me. I promise you.
You're the
That
only
doesn't
one
live in
that I've met.
OKC.
You're the only one
I'm
I've
telling
met,
you,
because I'm like, especially even when y'all had KD, Westbrook, and Harden. I didn't know true OKC fans. I knew the bandwagons. I
Mhm.
didn't know true fans.
Yes,
So
sir.
you're the first one I met that was a true fan. So I don't want. I don't even want to hear anyone talk about OKC. I
Yes, sir.
no, no.
I had to bring them up in the playoffs. But
You
anyway,
have to.
the final matchup here, and we could finally get out of here. We
Yes,
got
sir.
Milwaukee, the 3 seed, going up against Chicago. They are officially up 2-1 after coming back big in game three. I think it was 111 to 89 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a dog.
Um,
That was oof.
big bounce back performance from Milwaukee, but uh what were your thoughts after those first two games? Because I honestly felt like it was competitive, especially the one that they lost.
Mm,
But at the same time, I got the feeling that they shouldn't have lost.
it
And
shouldn't have.
now that Middleton is having injury issues, I think this series specifically shouldn't change. But moving forward, I think there's a lot to look at with this team.
That's a bigger issue. If Middleton, see, my thing was when I saw that Middleton went down, I don't wish injury on anyone, right?
You was hurt.
But when I saw that, I'm like, okay, wrap this up, wrap this series up, because that allows us to have an extra day or so to relax,
Mhm.
right? They they've already lost one game. If they were to somehow lose another game to Chicago, that's only helping Boston out.
I hate you.
So I like with
I hate you, bro.
Middleton being out. Middleton is one of those guys that turns into Michael Jordan playing us. I don't know what the hell it is, but that dude.
That's a good
So
shout.
like I don't know what it is. It's him, Dragic, uh,
Once Ramadan
Sadiq
is over,
Bey.
and I can drink on this show, and I hope it'll still be during the playoffs. On this show, I'm gonna play a drinking game. I'm not even gonna tell you.
Okay. Okay.
As soon as you insert the Celtics in a conversation about a matchup in general, I'm just gonna drink, and by the end of the show, I'm gonna be dead. Like I'm not
Hey,
gonna be
man.
alive. But I love it. I love it. I
No,
love it.
but that was my initial thought with the
I
Middleton
can't blame
injury.
you.
That's all I'm saying. I think they should have wrapped this. They should get this series over with, no problem. But I think they're going to end up losing in the second round. Middleton,
Yeah,
you
me
need
too.
Middleton, right? But I was saying this coming into the season, Milwaukee is not the same team, and I'm gonna tell you why. One of the guys that doesn't really get mentioned much with Milwaukee was Dante DiVincenzo. He was one
Yep.
of those guys that was just
Huge
like,
glue guy.
yeah, he was that guy that Milwaukee needed. And when they lost him, I was actually shocked because that didn't even make any sense to me.
Yep.
That didn't make any sense to me.
Anytime anyone signs with the Kings,
Oh
it
yeah,
makes no
yeah,
sense
yeah,
to me.
yeah. And he's already trying to get the hell out of there. So, um, yeah, I don't think Milwaukee is the same team. I think they're still good for sure, right? I think whatever happens, I think it's still going to be a competitive matchup. But I don't think that it's going to be as long as it would have been had Middleton played it.
Very fair.
You
Yep.
know, so yeah, I think Chicago has an opportunity because they could actually upset. They're not out of it, right? Like it's two
Hmm.
one. You still have an opportunity to bounce back. Uh, see if you can push the issue.
Yep.
See
I
if you can
think
push them.
losing big at home is an issue though. Like
It is. It
losing big
is.
at home,
It
I
is.
think that says a lot. So I'm worried about them going forward as far as making this a competitive series.
Hmm.
Um, I thought it would be better. To be
I
honest,
did
I
so.
thought it would be
I
better.
did so. Yeah.
But that's all we got, baby.
Yes, sir.
It's
Yes,
been a
sir.
fun one.
This has
It's been
been
a
a
fun one.
this has been a jam packed one, and we didn't think it was gonna be this much.
Dude, I just gotta say, this was one of my probably one of my favorite episodes. Like this was
You
really
say
fun.
that every week too.
And it's for different reasons too, which is why I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
man.
stop doing this show, baby.
Hey,
There's
man.
been times literally where during the week I'm like, honestly, I might tell him this is gonna be the week I take a break. And then when it comes time to record, I'm like, nah, bro, we
Yeah.
gotta talk. We gotta talk. We got a lot to talk about.
Hey, yo, for everyone, I don't know if we even discussed this the last time, but this man came on with COVID, bro. Like, y'all don't understand. Like, he actually came on
Twice.
with
I,
COVID.
I
Like,
came on with COVID and then I came on with the COVID scare. So
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah,
twice, baby. I had flu games on this damn show twice. Come on, man.
And I appreciate that, man. I
Can I
appreciate
get
that.
can I
It's
get can I get
That's
a
love.
fucking review on Apple Podcasts for that, please? Like, can I get one?
Like,
Can I
like,
get one?
hook us up, people. Hook us up,
Yes, sir.
man. Like, this is this. We are. Let me make this quick announcement. This show is officially brought to you by our very first sponsor, Champ Number One Boxers. Okay, we have our OTS has this first sponsor, and I'm glad to say that it's another black owned company that's actually here in Atlanta. That yes, they have it's boxers. Like, we need underwear, but guess what,
And let me just say, some of the most comfortable underwear I've ever
bro?
owned.
I'm telling you this right now. I've I've literally been putting them through the ringer the last week, and
To test it out.
I'm like, what the hell is this? Because
Yo, what have I been missing in my life? Exactly the same way I feel too.
like, honestly, and I don't, this to me, this is private, so I don't like talking about this part of my, like any part of my private life. I don't like talking about at all. But we're being sponsored, so I'm gonna talk about it. Okay. uh uh I've been wearing Under Armour boxers, right? Because those have been like comfortable as hell for me, like for the last couple of years. I'm like, this is it. Champ champ knocks Under Armour out the water. Like, I don't even understand what the hell that is. Like, what, like the material? I don't know what
Yep.
look. If y'all put it like this, okay? Y'all need to go get a pair for yourselves. Get some get some boxers for the champ in your life. How about this?
Ooh,
There
that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
appreciate it. How about this? They they have things for men and for women. So ladies, you can get some stuff as well. It's excellent stuff to work out in. They
That's the key
have
for me.
yeah, it's not just
Dude,
boxers though. They
look at
have
me.
slides.
I'm a guy that sweats. Just look at me. I'm a guy that sweats. And more so than any other pair, like
Yeah,
there's no issues.
no
There's no
issues.
issues.
No
So
issues. And
listen to
I'm
the man.
surprised. I'm surprised, Matt. Like the slides, I didn't expect my slides to feel the way they feel. And those things, I have Adidas slides, just just for comparison.
Same?
No, better,
Wow.
better.
I meant
Like
same like I do too, but
oh, oh,
I
my
get
bad,
what
my
you
bad,
mean.
my bad, my bad. I thought you were saying it's in terms same in terms of comp. No, Champ is actually better than what I've been wearing with Adidas. Okay,
Wow.
so
Real
if you
quick,
guys go ahead,
Adidas slides. Are they the cushion ones or are they
the
the
cloud foam,
spike ones? Yes. Thank you.
the cloud foam,
Thank you
yeah,
for being on the right side of the argument. But
yeah,
continue.
yeah. No, and I got two. I had two pair of them.
Hmm.
I have a black and white one. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and I had leading up to this, I'm thinking, oh, these are good, but no, the champ slides are perfect. So,
Wow, I
I'm
need to
telling
get a
y'all
pair of
now,
those.
it like y'all want some of these, please check the link in our bio. You can get, you can get whatever you want for a little discount through our link, and like I said, get something for the champ in your life. If you think you're the champ, I know I'm a champ, right? You're a champ, right? Like
Yes, sir.
that's
No question about that.
and to be completely honest, OTS only rocks with high quality stuff. That's the only thing we do is high quality. So that's the only thing we associate ourselves with. Trust and believe. Champ is something you're gonna want to be able to go check out. So please check out the link in our bio. Go get you something. And show Champ some love and shout out to Champ #1 boxers. Love you guys. Appreciate the partnership and hopefully we do you guys proud.
Yep. Bigger, better things to come
Yes, sir.
for sure. And
Yes,
and
sir.
that was not suggestive at all.
No.
Thank you so much for everyone at home. I just want to say thank you for being our champs, showing up, showing the show some love, making sure that you're heard. Please keep doing that. Please like, comment, share the stuff. We bring you quality every week, my man's. Every Derrick is just barely holding it together here at the end. We bring you quality every week, and I promise we're gonna keep delivering that. So thank you
That's
so
what we do.
much for everything you guys do. Trust me, we see you, we appreciate you,
Most definitely.
but we want to see you some more too. So
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
the offer still stands. As soon as I see someone send me a 5-star review with a screenshot, I will personally ask you for your Cash App and send you money. This is not a game.
It's
I'm
not.
being serious.
The man
So
is about his
please
word.
send me that. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for staying this long.
Yes, sir.
It's always a pleasure.
Always.
And until next time, I'll catch you guys.
Peace.
Peace.